Hello, Home Slices. It's Kiera with Home Slice Adulting, coming to you all with my review of Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 1, Episode 8, which is titled Melody's Last Stand. Now, earlier today, I posted my review for the latest episode of Iyanla Fix My Life, the episode where she was working with the 5 siblings who had been through foster care. Which was titled like Raised by Monsters Part 1. So if you're interested, be sure to check that out on my channel as well. I'm going to put a link down below in the description box. But thank you. Before I get into reviewing this episode, I want to say thank you for clicking on this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and to subscribe, and to share this video with people who you think will like it. Now, let's jump right in. Now, I feel like I heard somebody say that this was the season finale, but I don't know that that is necessarily true. I kind of hope not, because it kind of left things really up in the air for me, and I don't appreciate that. So anyways, first off, we see Tisha, I think it's Letitia. I'm not a huge fan of hers because of reasons that I've mentioned in previous reviews, but I applaud her for going ahead and kind of diving into becoming a working woman again, regardless of the fact that she didn't really have Marcel's blessing. So she says that he's unwilling to help her with any of the housework, with any of the child rearing. So she's basically had to, outsource those things and figure out how to take care of those things so that she can dive back into the workforce. But it's worth it for her to have a career. And so Letitia accepts an offer with a broker. I think it's the one that she met with on camera that we saw last time. But immediately the broker, it kind of offers up an opportunity, saying that she knows someone who is trying to build, a hotel, and maybe she can connect them with, her husband, who builds, commercial buildings. So Letitia accepts that, opportunity and to become a part of their brokerage firm. And I'm actually a little happy for her. And I wish her, all of the success that she can have in, her business. And, Letitia gonna mess around and make me like her, okay? But moving on, we see Martell, of course, is injured, and he goes to his mama's house. You all, there's nothing less attractive than a mama's boy. Yeah, anyways, so Martell apparently has to have surgery. He ruptured his Achilles, and he says that he needs his mama to help take care of him while Melody takes care of his kids. Now, there was something, Martell's mom does not speak very clearly all the time, and I had to kind of figure out that she was calling Melody daughter, because I kept thinking that she was saying like Dorothy, and I'm like, who is Dorothy? But she's calling Melody daughter. But Mama Holt is telling Martell about the talk that she had with Melody in, a few episodes ago. And Martell is asking, well, what type of advice did you give her? Did you tell her to stay with me? And Mama Holt says that she didn't tell Melody to leave, but that she shouldn't, sign up to be treated any kind of way. And then Mama Holt tells him, that he isn't a bad person just because he did a bad thing. Okay. I might be able to buy that. But then she says, there are other men out there that are doing far worse. And it's like, ding, 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 ding. That explains where he got that whole, you should be grateful that I do this, this, and that, because other men are doing this, this, and that. That's what Melody mentioned the last week, that Martell feels like he doesn't have to do as much to regain Melody's trust, because she should just be happy that she has a man that, helps to take care of the kids and, has a good business and all that kind of stuff. And it's just not the case. So apparently he got that from his mama, because she feels that, in comparison to other men who are out here cheating on their wives and doing far worse than what Martell did, that, Melody has it pretty good. And it's like, who cares how the next man is treating his wife or his girlfriend? Nobody cares. It's about how Martell is treating Melody. And, comparison is a thief of joy. Anyway, moving on. So, he basically just hopes that Melody does not leave him. And I'm thinking that she might be in a position to take him to the cleaners. And maybe she needs to do that. But Martell says that he allows Melody to have access to his phone. And then messy Carlos King has the camera cut straight to the fact that he has a second phone. Oh, it's so interesting how people can edit things together to be like extra shady. It's almost as if like the cameraman or like the editor, the person who's editing all these clips and everything is kind of like another cast member, like a shady cast member that can go back in the past and, you know, recount everything that you said. And then he says another thing that he's trying to do, excuse me, to regain her trust is giving her is being home on time. And the camera goes back to the time where he didn't come home on time. So Carlos King, you're not right. Anyways, they were, you know, his mom was telling him to remember why they first fell in love. And I don't know that, you know, a marriage video can fix the problem Martell has. But moving on, we see Melody. Melody is coming off kind of shady because she is going to go see about having a backup plan to the comeback group as she meets with this team of people. I'm assuming they're husband and wife, but you know, maybe not. But she meets with them and is basically saying the group that originally is tried to take on this project, things are kind of not working out. And Melody has kind of made it clear that she does not want to proceed with the comeback group, and that, you know, the Plan B people want to know what went wrong. And Melody, like I said, is coming off kind of shady and is still making these moves that are not aligned with the group. She reassured the Plan B people that the others in the group would be interested in being bought out. But if I remember correctly, and I'm sure I do, when she told people to raise their hands if they wanted out of the comeback group, she was the only person that raised her hand, which means that they aren't interested in being bought out. They want to move forward with the project. So Melody, to me, is like just clearly lying, and I think she is taking out the anger and lack of control that she feels in her own marriage on the comeback group, and that's not right. And then simultaneously we see Kemi talking to Maurice on the phone, saying that, you know, she's looking at all this new construction and that basically they can't build houses fast enough, and if the comeback group doesn't get it together, this boom, you know, this real estate boom is going to pass them by and they're going to, you know, have a lot of missed opportunities. So Kemi is basically saying that they need to get Melody back on board. So we see Letitia, I'm probably going to continue to mess that up. I think it's Letitia and Marcel sit down to have lunch, and Letitia says she is going to plead her case, which to me sounds like she's asking for permission, but you're a grown woman. You don't need your husband's permission. But on the other hand, you don't want to just be making, you know, incredible life decisions without talking to your spouse first. But Marcel was just unreasonable. So in this instance, Letitia had to do what she had to do and basically show him better than she could tell him. And that's exactly what happened. Marcel just can't see. He just can't seem to compute that there are women who work and have children, as if he doesn't know people who work and have children, like the two other women in the comeback group. Like, he just like when you talk to a robot about love and they're like, what is love? I can't understand what love is because I'm a computer, you know. Like, it's like that. Like, you know, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand that women work and take care of kids at the same time, but whatever. Marcel hops on board when he realizes that Tisha is basically putting him on to, the way they were talking about it, one of the biggest projects that he's ever worked on. And that Tisha is, you know, through her connections, through her, you know, brokerage firm that she just joined, that he might have an opportunity to build a hotel and get him some business. And I'm like, go ahead, Tisha. Like, she might be a little bit smarter than I give her credit for because she managed to convert Marceau so quickly from being a misogynistic pig, basically saying that she needs to stay home, take care of the kids, from like in a split second when she said, oh, you might be able to build a hotel. He's like, yeah, girl, go into the workforce and be fruitful. Like, the fact that he so quickly began to sing a different tune is a little suspicious to me, but whatever. Go ahead, Tisha. You are a lot smarter than I gave you credit for. She came to him at the right time with the right opportunity, and now I think that this tension that they had in their relationship has really been relieved, and everybody gets what they want. It's weird. Yeah, so this couple's gonna mess around and get on my good side, even though I didn't really care for either one of them, and now they are like kind of working their way into my favor. But anyways, next we see Maurice and Marceau interact because their mom is coming back in town. Apparently she's getting older, she's in a wheelchair, and they are renovating a house that they own to be ADA compliant. For those of you who don't know what ADA is, it's American with Disabilities Act. They have certain standards that, buildings and things have to be up to code so that they are accessible by people who are disabled, namely in wheelchairs. So they're making sure that the house is up to code. But Marceau was thinking that the house that they are remodeling for their mom now would just be temporary, and that they could purchase one of the comeback group homes for their mom. But the group, can't really get it together. Marceau tells Maurice that he's currently negotiating to build a $6 million plus hotel, based off the deal that Letitia got him. And again, I don't really care for Marceau, but I'm happy for him. And so is Maurice, to the point where Maurice is about to cry. And I love to see Black people do well in business. I'm getting my MBA myself, so I enjoy business and hope to have a very, very prolific business career myself. And I guess the Holts can't say that, the Scots are riding their coattails anymore. They're coming up in the world. But anyways, even Marceau was crying a little bit, and it was very sweet to see that these two kids who, they claim they grew up in the hood, and to see that they're really doing something with themselves and being successful on a TV show, and they have kids, and just successful Black people. They're very proud of themselves, and I'm very proud of them as well. But moving on, they start talking about Martell and Melody, and come to find out, Martell claims that he didn't stretch the day that he injured himself because he was talking to Melody on the phone. So Maurice kind of wondered if Martell blamed Melody for his injury. We hadn't heard anything about that, so I really hope not. Maurice is trying to get Kimmy and Kiowa together. Kiowa, if I'm saying her name correctly, is his ex-wife, who is the mother of his child, because he's trying to have a come to Jesus moment, some type of agreement between all three of them regarding his son coming down there to live with him and Kimmy. And again, Marceau's not my favorite person on this show, but he be making some sense sometimes, okay? He does not believe that he should get his ex-wife and his new wife together because things have changed for him significantly since the divorce. He lost 40 pounds, he moved away from his son. He, found somebody else that he likes better, and they're living this great lifestyle. We already know that Kiowa felt some type of way about them getting married on a yacht, and so now his ex-wife has to be faced with the fact that he has moved on to live a much better life, and she has to have a conversation with the person that he's living this better life with. And Marceau is considering that, which is really interesting because I wouldn't imagine that he cared about that. But Maurice feels like he is prioritizing the fact that he needs to be a bigger presence in his son's life, and that they all need to be on the same page for it. And I hope that Marceau's concerns, I think they're valid. I think Marceau's concerns are valid, and I'm like kind of on the same page with him, which sounds weird to say, but I hope that they can all be adults and like work together to make sure that little monster, who is Maurice's son, you know, has the appropriate care that he needs. And, you know, whether that is with his mother or his father, you know, they can all get together and really make this decision and make it work. So we found out that Maurice is about to be an attorney, which struck me as a surprise, because we knew he was in school, but I don't know that we ever heard him say law school. I was under the impression that he was in business school because, like, he's a businessman. So, anyways, that struck me as a surprise, but good for him. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I just wanted to get these out of the way because I have a lot of stuff to do tomorrow. So, God help me. Anyways, so next we see Martell and Melody. And Martell is watching the video of their wedding, and he tries to give his definition of marriage, and he's like, dedication. Well, you already violated that one because you weren't dedicated to your wife. So, okay. All right. What's the next one? Love. Okay. Well, were you in love with this other girl? This mistress? And then he's like, oh, trying to satisfy your mate in any way possible. Now that to me sounded like a shot at Melody, because he claims that he wasn't being satisfied by Melody, and that's why he went off to the other woman. And then he started like messing up. Like, he gave the textbook answers like dedication and love. And then when he got to the trying to, you know, please your mate in any way possible, then he started kind of messing up and saying a lot of buts, and like, you try to do this, but, and then you try to do something else, but, and then the cameraman pans out and he's sitting next to Melody, and Melody didn't say nothing. I didn't hear Melody say anything. And he's like, oh, what? Like, what you talking about? What you saying? And she's like, I didn't even say anything. You're giving your definition of marriage. And she said, why would I say anything about that? A hit dog will holler, okay? He got so mad. He got so riled up. It was so funny to me because he's like telling on himself. It's clear that even in his definition of marriage that he hasn't held up his end of the bargain, and so he feels guilty about it. Like, anyways, I just can't with him. Moving on, we see Kimmy calls a meeting with the comeback group, and not only are they coming back, they're coming to Jesus, okay? So Letitia says, I don't even want to see Melody. Like, the last meeting went so poorly. They're not interested. So Melody tells them, you know, they all get there minus Martell because he's preparing to go to surgery. And Melody tells them about, you know, Martell having to go to surgery, that he's, you know, going to be in recovery. And Kimmy, if I remember last time, Kimmy and Melody are trying to like mend their relationship, and you can actually see this time that they're actually putting forth effort into doing so, because Kimmy is trying to get Melody back on board because she feels like they need her. And Kimmy wants to finish this thing together, and that is for a higher cause. And we all know that they're, you know, what one of them mentioned, I think it was maybe Marceau mentioned, he called it Negroville, but it's called gentrification. Gentrification is what happens when you have a neighborhood that is low income, and developers buy cheap land and cheap properties and put expensive buildings on them to raise the property value and get basically white people, or, you know, wealthier people or middle class people to move into those neighborhoods. And once the property value has increased, the people who originally lived there, the low income people, can't afford to stay there anymore because the property value has increased so much. And so these towns that used to be basically the black parts of town, the maybe Hispanic parts of town, the place where a lot of immigrants lived, low income areas slowly become gentrified, and they become the new hippest, you know, neighborhoods for the fancy hipster white people to move in and build smoothie shops and, you know, businesses that, you know, people of color typically might not patronize. And, you know, gentrification is a real thing, and apparently it's happening in Huntsville. And, you know, the comeback group is to try to help to mitigate that and to prevent that from happening. So it is for a higher cause. It is a great thing that I think that they are doing. And I just find it weird that Melody did not mention that she was trying to find a plan B. And I think that once, you know, everybody else sees this episode, if she has not already told them that she was maybe looking at a plan B, that she's going to destroy the trust within the comeback group once again. So I hope she was forthcoming with them before this episode aired. But anyways, Melody says that she kind of wants everybody to stay in their own lanes so that their involvement in these projects doesn't hurt their friendships. And I think everyone was on board. When I saw her say that in the commercials for this episode, I thought people were going to be offended and that she was basically saying that they should break up. But I think she was saying that if everyone just does their part within the comeback group, and they don't have like crossover between the different, you know, areas of expertise, that way they preserve their friendship, and they seem to all kind of agree. So Melody, I think that she kind of messed up, I'll say, when she hinted that she and Martell may not be a couple much longer. And basically she said she's taking a step back from Holt and Holt. And Melody actually got me a little teary-eyed this time around. And she was being honest and being upfront. And with Letitia and Kimmy accusing her of being bougie, like in previous episodes, I think that it was a nice change of pace to see Melody be vulnerable with her friends. And she was saying that when she made the decision to try to work things out with Martell, she really didn't know what that would look like, and she didn't know what she was getting herself into, and that has been very challenging for her to really fulfill the promises she made to get back with Martell and try to work things out, and that she really hasn't been able to get over it. And now it's looking like she may want to change her mind. And so Melody said that she needs consistency and, you know, to see the effort from Martell. Now Letitia asks what they can do to help, and Melody doesn't really answer the question. Instead, she says that Martell was basically keeping up a happy facade while he was cheating on her, and because Melody was really caught off guard by the fact that Martell was cheating on her because she felt like things were good at home, this makes her question everything. And that's really understandable. But like, Letitia, what can your friends do to help support you when your husband is cheating? I can't think of anything. It's really a thing that I think is between Martell and Melody. But y'all let me know if that was like, I feel like that was a weird question to ask. Like, what can we do as friends to like be in y'all's business, is the way it came off to me. And I don't think that she was asking to be malicious or anything like that. I think she was actually, you know, really offering help. But you know, that's something that Martell and Melody have to work on, and that probably shouldn't involve their friends. But moving on, they ask Melody if Martell knows that she basically has one foot out of the door. And her response was, "I'm telling him." And I'm like, okay, so is Melody just like into lying for like no reason? Like the fact that she didn't disclose that she was already talking to like other builders to build a house, like having a backup plan, that's a lie by omission. And then her telling them that she is telling Martell that she has one foot out the door, to me, is not really true either. So they keep talking after Melody leaves, and they basically decide that Martell does not get it and does not know that she has one foot out the door. So the last big scene at the end is with Martell and Melody at the hospital. And can you all just imagine how hard it is to try to take care of somebody that hurt you that way, that hurt you the way that Martell hurt Melody. And his expectations just seem so high for her to be there and to take care of him when she's like definitely not feeling it. And I'm like, she gonna go Diary of a Mad Black Woman on him. He better watch out. But Melody tells him, you know, that they're not good. And I feel like she picked the wrong time to tell him this right before he goes into surgery. She picked the wrong time. I don't know that she said that there really is no good time to deliver bad news. But before surgery is really not a good time. I think she really picked a bad time. But anyways, she's trying to be serious and he's making a joke, and Melody thinks they need time apart, and she tells him that she doesn't feel valued, and then he like does this really childish thing like, we aren't friends anymore. And it's like, nigga, what? What are you talking about? The doctor came in right on time because Melody was about to go off, and she was able to calm down a little bit. I think the fact that this was such a serious moment and he's about to go into surgery, she was able to kind of reel in her emotions and being upset with Martell for being stupid. And so at this point, he's kind of going under. He may be, you know, going under anesthesia at this point, and drugs, and he, you know, his speech's a little bit slower than usual, a little less deliberate, but he puts on like the performance of a century. Like, the fact that Martell was able to act like everything was normal while he was cheating on his wife for 2 years tells me that he's a bit of an actor. And the fact that he was about to go under for surgery, I think that there's a possibility that he's playing upon Melody's emotions. Melody is trying to be supportive of him while he's about to have a surgery, and, you know, under the understanding that she's going to be taking care of him for the next few weeks, you know, getting him chapstick, and he just says some beautiful things to her about how, you know, he's going to make sure that he doesn't have any, like, all of his communication is going to be above board. He doesn't want anyone else besides her, and she's crying, and I might have been crying at that time. He was being very genuine with her, which is what I absolutely hope, or he is like he deserves an Oscar. Take the Oscar away from somebody who just got it and give it to him, because he might have played upon the fact that he had, you know, all the tubes stuck to him and everything, and he just said some beautiful words that really got Melody to the place where she felt like she had the old Martell back. And again, I don't know if he was genuine or if he really just played up the fact that he was in a compromised position. And Melody, you know, I guess leaves the hospital and calls her mom on the phone, and she was saying that she felt like she got the old Martell back. And then Vanessa, who is Melody's mom, brought her back to life, back to reality. The old Martell was the nigga that cheated on you. Like, you have to understand that if you do have the old Martell back, that, you know, you might have some heartache and pain that goes along with that. And you have to decide if you want to go through that. And Vanessa kind of killed Melody's vibe a little bit, but she's telling her the truth, okay? And that's what mamas do. So Melody says she's going to try to get herself back together. And again, I do not know if this is the season finale. It might be, but it's kind of a cliffhanger. So if this is indeed the season finale, it's been great reviewing this show. And I think it is a hit show, and I am eager to see what happens next. So thank you all for watching. This has been a super long video, but I think I'm gonna head to bed after this. I am just so tired, and I have a lot of things to do tomorrow. So thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and to share this video with someone who you think will like it. Be sure to give it a little thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Peace out, home slices.